All right, that ain't working. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing wonderful this morning.
That was funny. I'm watching it because there's a delay on YouTube, and I saw you messing with the thing. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What's up, Monty, Shawnee, Ginger, Harvey, Caribbean House?
Great to see everybody in the channel. So this morning we are looking at a few things here that I think that are pretty interesting. Number one, let me pull my chat out before I get too far ahead of things in here, so I can see what you wonderful people are saying. Good to see everybody this morning. Fan Travels, Gina. Or no, Paula, not Gina. How's it going? This is not my normal time up, guys. I'm a second shifter, but we are going to be trying some new stuff. Me and Gray have hooked up, and we're going to be doing this Tuesday morning live. Lady Cassie, good to see you. Lady T, how's it going? So right off the bat, there's a few things that we can show you that seem kind of weird. Here we'll start off with day zero, number one. Since this is going to be a hot topic this morning, everybody's heard about the pipeline and crude oil. This we found a little bit to be odd. So as you guys can see, economically, if we had a shortage, why is crude oil in the red this morning when we get up? What's your thoughts, Gray?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you. Like you figured it would be everything would be in the green heavily, because of the demand.
Right.
I'm just getting sidetracked by seeing some stuff too. I'm like, oh, okay, because Harvey wrote something down and he's right. GasBuddy.com is down.
Isn't that interesting? Why would they want to hide it? I smell a rat. Hey, Native, good to see you. Good morning. Keto, Jess, how's it going? So it's been a very strange morning to watch this stuff because it's not going in the right direction. It's odd, very odd, strange.
I'm seeing if I could find that article for you, but I don't know. It's been okay. Here we go. Yeah, I found it. Because it is stating that there is a bunch of states that are running out of gas. Because it says basically, let me see here. Just want to make sure before I speak. It said Virginia. It says stations in Virginia had run out of gas as of 11 p.m. Central Time on Monday. An analyst with Gas Buddy, who stated that, and also U.S. It's also affecting the Canadians, which lists price availability to U.S. Canadians and Australians, which is weird. It says at the same time, 2% of the stations in North Carolina, about 1.5% of the stations in Georgia and Florida, and about 0.5% of stations in South Carolina had no gas.
So there's a pipeline that he's talking about, guys. And as you can see, it goes up into New Jersey and it stops.
Yeah, that's odd.
Something weird going on here.
You know, and like personally, I haven't seen anything in my area. You know what I mean? But I guess like in the upper the Panhandle, that's where they're starting to see it at. So maybe it's a trickle down effect towards here down south.
I'm waiting for it to trickle up north.
And remember what I said the other day about the truck drivers? It states there is a shortage of truck drivers for fuel trucks. That's also contributed to the shortages. So it's a multitude of things.
And like I was talking last night in the live, guys, if you keep in response and keep watching this, because like I said, even though these are not connected, they are in a certain way. You add the canal, now you had the oil lines, and like Gray was just saying with the jobs and stuff, what's starting to, and I'm starting to ask the same question. It's not just to anybody, it's to truck drivers too. If you're getting paid more to stay home, are you going to go drive a truck? Nope.
I just lost chat. Now hold on one second. Anyways, what's up to everybody in chat? I saw Native and Jess, and who else were there? Stars Prepper.
Stars Prepper's in there.
Travel, in there. Monty. While I try to fix why my chat is there. We go. Jeez. See what happens when stay up late night with Ghost Prepper at 3:30 in the morning.
Yep. It's all Ghost's problem or fault. Morning there, Mitts. Lady Cassia, good to see you.
So have to lurk. Yeah, I hear you. I do that a lot when I'm at work too. I lurk.
Finley Rivers, good to see you, buddy. Arc Wildman Survival, good to see you. Lady T is in the house. Guys, don't forget, please hit the thumbs up if you're not subscribed to Gray or myself. If you like what you see, we're going to be doing this every Tuesdays. We're going to be flip-flopping on channels. So next week, guys, this will be on his channel. Freaky Geek, good morning. Good to see you. Brian, good to see you. So we're going to be flip-flopping back and forth. This is the start of this. We should have something every Tuesday with news and what's going on in the world, how homesteading, prepping, all of that good stuff. Judy.
Did you see what Governor Newsom's trying to do over in California?
What's he doing?
He is trying to send his own stimulus checks out to the residents of California. He says Governor Gavin Newsom, in the face of recall effort against him, announced Monday that the state is projected to have $75.7 billion surplus and this is the state of California that's having this surplus, $75.7 billion in surplus, and wants to provide stimulus checks to about 2/3 of its residents. His budgeted proposal, if passed by the California legislature, would send $600 tax rebates to households making up to $75,000, as well as an additional $500 to family with children, according to a news release. That would also plan to give $500 to illegal immigrants.
Hey, Jeanette. Sweet, good to see you, buddy. Glad you came in here.
How does California have a surplus of money when they were locked down longer than anybody has been locked down? That is just throwing red flags out there for me, man.
Mala's in the house. Good to see you, Mallory.
Oh boy.
Carl and friends, good to see you too.
Matter of fact, almost on the same articles, it says California governor expands drought emergency declaration to 41 counties. So wouldn't you be spending that money on fixing that situation?
We already know California is broken beyond repair. So we're all of a sudden, was he pulling it out of his own account? I doubt it.
I just don't understand it.
This is just bug. Right now our crude oil, I'm watching these numbers. They're continuously dropping. We're down to 26.26 right now, 0.4%. 39. Now it's going back the other way. So it's bouncing back and forth. Why it's in the red, I have no idea. But heating oil is staying at 0. Does not make sense. Hey, Best Life, good to see you. So I don't know why it's doing that, Gray, and it's kind of interesting. I'll have to watch that today and see if that jumps at all. D14.
Yeah, it would be something to watch. And Alabama is also Alabama's on the bandwagon with Florida and Texas and some of the other states. They're ending their pandemic unemployment benefits due to labor shortages.
And that's something very smart to do. Is if we continue, I mean, that's just common knowledge. If you're gonna give out checks and stuff like that, and that you're gonna pay people to stay home, they're gonna take advantage of it. They're not gonna get out there and work. Lady T, we don't really have a fuel shortage. It's backlog because the fuel isn't moving. The problem is delivery of said fuel via pipeline or tanker trucks. That's my take.
Yeah, I can't read chat when I'm over here looking at these articles.
Harvey, oil prices down possibly because Colonial Pipeline may have paid the ransomware. They are not saying one way or the other. Well, that's what we were showing this morning here, and I'm just going to keep popping this clip up in here. You know, you guys can see it right there. I woke up this morning, and if we had a shortage economically, you would see, and what was saying this cost prices should be they're going up. You should see it represented in the markets right now with crude oil, natural gas, and they're all down. So
I see Snippy's on board too now.
Who's Snippy?
Snippy is number 46.
Oh.
He just made an announcement, I guess, about an hour or so ago, stating if you're receiving unemployment benefits, you are offered a suitable job. You can't refuse that job and getting the unemployment benefits. Number 46 said. And you know why he's saying that, right? Because his job market expectations are rock bottom.
Yeah, they were plummeting. I saw the report the other day. He was not happy about the first quarter's outlook. So
that and unemployment rose. How does unemployment go up when everybody's opening up and everybody's getting the poke and all that jazz? Doesn't make any sense, man.
Nope.
So we'll see what these folks do. Let's see if these folks get back into the workforce, because I haven't since this whole thing started. I have never stopped working.
I haven't either.
So
Paula says that the Western Canada is screwed because who shut down the Keystone Pipeline.
Bingo. that like I said, it's a snowball effect. You have that. You have the oil truck driver shortages, and then you have this. Now, in regards to the ransomware, there is some credence to they possibly may have paid it. And the reason I say that is because they put out a statement on their website, this hacker organization or group or whatever you want to call them, stated that we don't want to cause chaos. We just want the money.
My question is who's behind it and wants the money?
Good question. Good question, because I've been digging into it, and they say they have no political affiliation, they have no governmental affiliation, no, they're not part of any group or any country. They're a conglomerate of folks. I have no idea.
Because in here in this article, it says, despite plans to reopen a major U.S. fuel pipeline later this week following a cyber attack by a gang of hackers, Colonial Pipeline CEO warned state officials Monday to be ready for a possible fuel shortage. Now, when the whole thing took over here last spring, no one was going any. We had a surplus. Like Paula was just saying, where's the surplus at? Why are we in this situation here? It's not adding up. We didn't go through all that fuel already.
No, the administration that's in there right now, they were set up relatively well by number 45, to be honest with you. If you dig really into it, the way the economy was set up, even with the health crisis, they were set up for pretty good. You know what I mean? Yep. So all this BS that's coming out of there, it's some sort of narrative that we haven't seen yet. And it's still, I still think there's going to be things that unfold throughout the year.
Brian's Lost Hills Homestead there. They have to belong to somebody or something, someone sort of a group. Exactly. It is really strange that the numbers ain't saying what it's supposed to be saying. The CEOs ain't saying what what they're supposed to be saying. I don't understand it. Okay, in a private meeting, the CEO of the company won't resume shipments until the ransomware has been removed. So this was just posted 26 minutes ago.
What did they state?
In a private meeting, so this is a continuation of what I was reading before. I can't play it because we'll get nailed.
Roger that.
It says in a private meeting, the CEO said the company would resume shipments or won't resume shipments until the ransomware has been removed. So it's saying it's still there.
Well, Harvey said that they are now saying the Colonial Pipeline may be reopened on the weekend, not Friday. So it looks like we've been pushed back a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Lady Casca down drastically last year. Didn't they buy up a bunch? Yes. Number 45 was building up a massive reserve. He didn't want to be fuel dependent on other countries. So he was building up mass reserves here in the U.S.
And he with the fracking going on, we had massive. That's why the prices of gas was so low over the winter. And then what happened when the whole pandemic came and hit in, or however you want to say it, no one was going anywhere, so no one's burning that reserves.
Bingo.
So they're sitting on a boatload somewhere.
And like I said, the ironic thing is now that everybody's opening up. I mean, Florida really never shut down. They might have had a little brief thing, but now that everybody's opening up, summer travel, everything is picking up. Now we have the shortages. Now we have the prices going skyrocketing.
And I said that last night because it's the holidays. We're getting into that holiday season. We're getting close here to Memorial Day, and we always see prices in fuel go up when the just before a holiday. So. But the markets ain't showing what's supposed to be showing here. We're going to go check now look at that.
Right on, Brian. You're exactly right. No matter even how positive it was, he's been trying to cancel everything that number 45 did, which is ridiculous. It's spiteful.
Dow Jones is down 569 points. NASDAQ is down 170. S&P is down 64.
Is that trending, Harvey? That hashtag? That's pretty funny.
But reports of gas stations and long lines of gas stations in southern states after hackers shut down Colonial Pipeline
I hear you, Ginger Ninja.
Well, I'm hoping we were talking about it this morning when I got up and got my coffee going, and I might go hit some fuel stations and just top off some tanks just in case. But you know what, guys? If you guys remember way back, I think it was 2008 to call for a fuel shortage, and everybody went crazy on buying fuel. The whole toilet paper thing shortage. I'm also wondering if something is being injected here to start the process. You know what I mean? Because look what happens if fuel line shuts down and people go and we're going to start to back off on fuel, and people start running to gas stations. Are they trying to get us to buy more fuel? Is what I'm trying to say.
That could be a possibility as well. Everything is open up into interpretation. It's hard to always figure out what their plan is or what their goal is or what their end game is.
Mm-hmm.
We can always speculate and what we see or read, but I guarantee you there's a lot more behind the scenes than we are aware of.
Yes, guys, please hit that thumbs up. That would be nice. Thank you, Arkman. Ark Wildman's in the house.
It's let me see what has Harvey got here. What's up, Jam? And Marion, South Carolina. We didn't say it was unbelievable. I thought it was catastrophic coming. I've seen all the cars waiting. Yeah, and see, and that's the thing, Harvey. So folks are now waking up today, and they're hearing this for the first time because mainstream media delays things. And this is why I did that thing yesterday morning, because as soon as it hit where I could share it with you folks, I did, because I care about you folks, and I wanted you guys to be aware of what's going on specifically with that gas line, the gas pipeline. But there's a lot of people that don't follow YouTube. They pay attention to me. They're the sheep of the world, and they're waking up today realizing that they're having issues, and now everybody's in a panic to buy the gas. And of course, supposedly you're not supposed to panic. You know what I mean? They're telling folks that, the preppers are making people hoard gas. It's no such thing. No such things. We have gas. Preppers, most preppers and homesteaders, they've prepared for this, and they have gas stored. It's the people that are waking up today like, what? Gas? I had no idea there was a shortage. What do you mean there's a pipeline? And they just don't pay attention because they have their blinders on. And now they're all freaking out and creating these lines and mass hysteria at the gas stations. They always try to find someone to blame. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because of the stupid comment that I got the other day, because it just irked me.
Oh, but you're a knucklehead?
Yeah. Telling me that I'm scaring people. And he didn't say me. He said you preppers are scaring people. And I'm like, no, us preppers are prepped. We're not scaring people. We're just passing along information to help folks out. Don't get me started this morning. I'll get on fire here. I'll do like Native and go on a rant.
Caribbean House. Good to see you. Yeah, it's not making sense. We'll see what happens if it continues in this trend that it's going, but there's a lot of what if questions here. So I'm starting to look and see if they're just pushing it because they got that surplus and they want to get rid of so much fuel. And by doing this is helping their cause. I don't know. Paula's rant. Good Gray started. Patricia, yeah. Patrick.
Well, just because it's just ridiculous. People make assumptions all the time. They don't look at the entire thing. You know what I mean? And I hate when someone makes an assumption and drops a comment without being intelligent enough to do the research before they make that comment. And it was only one comment. Everybody else was on board with the discussion and what happened, and very supportive. And then this is just one comment. And I went and looked at the channel. It had 28 subscribers. It's an older gentleman who I don't know if he has a homestead or what, but it's just it's whatever, man.
Stars Prepper says right there, and many of us prep for more than who lives in our house. Exactly.
Bingo. Okay, Laura, I'll check it this afternoon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all over the news today, because now that the lines are forming at these gas stations, now that people are in a panic, there's going to be news media is going to eat that up alive today.
And here it just feeds in the comments I made last night. What else is going on that they don't want us to see, because everybody's focused on this now and what's going on behind the scenes. The other thing that we got, if I can find that, where is it? Okay. This is really interesting, guys. And I showed this to Gray, and I can't for the life of me figure this out. I'm going to kill the audio on this. So if you guys watch this is some of the rockets that are, I'm going to get rid of that. All right, here we go. So this is some of the rockets that are going off over there. All right, so we're going to play this. So you see the head here, and you see that the rockets are going to come off. Okay, so they're coming out of the launcher. Here they go up in the air. All right, now watch that rocket that's right along the pipe, or along this bridge or gate thing right here. You see it going up? Now watch it make an about face and come back. Look at that. And hit the other rocket. So does that one. It goes up and blows up in the air. You see that one, that last one that just came out of the launcher? Watch this one here now. One coming out at the bottom. You see the glow comes out of the launcher, comes up, blows up. I don't know. I can't see this as a really bad video quality. I don't know if there's other rockets in the air or what's going on, but something is strange there.
The best life. Technically, they didn't hack the pipe itself. They hacked the computers that ran the pipeline. What's up, Wendy?
Freaky, very costly fireworks. Yeah, it was really strange because you see them come out of the launchers and refresh arc.
Yeah, YouTube's been weird with that, man. In order to see who's watching and likes, if I want to see how many likes that are on the channel, I have to refresh it. I don't know why YouTube is doing stuff weird lately. I have no idea why.
David P, good morning. Judy, good morning.
Missile defense shield that Israel has.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would. But why is it shooting its own missiles down? Weird.
Yeah, I agree, Finley. I do agree.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. JM is vacuum sealing Oreos.
So I got a question there. This happened when did the whole pipeline things take over? Was that last week or was that in the beginning of this week?
It happened Friday, I think is when it happened.
Friday. So according to Harvey's comment, about 7.6% of gas stations in Virginia were out of fuel by Tuesday.
That's probably about right.
Yeah. So that means where's the reserves?
He added nearly 5% of gas stations in North Carolina, 3.3% in Georgia, as well as 2.4% in Florida. I plan on, because I got my live tonight with Gardner Josh, but before that, I'm gonna go do some research. I'm gonna go hit the streets and see if I can see anything with the gas stations around here in the local area. Yeah,
Dragon, I did see that. Did you see that video I showed about the rounds going off the missiles turrets and then they're shooting each other? I don't understand that, but that's got pretty bad quality. So I can't see if there's another missile in the air that it's going after, but obviously they're lighting up them barrages. That's for sure.
Yeah, Dragon. I mean, I don't care. She's an idiot. That lady's an idiot. Her and her rest of her crew are all idiots. You know what I did hear yesterday? It was pretty troubling. On Mark Levin's rant, he was talking about the treatment of the folks that have been arrested during the January 6th event. And some of them are in maximum confinement. Some of them are being abused. They're being treated really, really bad. And it's against their constitutional rights. He's doing a story about it, I assume. And when that happens, I'm going to be looking into that.
There's Moon. Good to see you. We were talking about this yesterday. Now, if you remember, in Bible prophecy times things, Israel is going to devastate and wipe that other place off the map. And talking about nuclear strikes, so maybe those missiles that Thur were had sneakerheads. I have no idea, buddy.
Right, Harvey.
Our Family Farms, good to see you. Welcome to the live stream.
Oh man,
it's very interesting how things are happening, and they're happening at a high pace now. Hey Moon, who is in the Bible prophecy? Who's Israel gonna wipe off the planet? Was that Hamas?
Good morning, Moonface. I just saw you pop in there. Yes, I need more coffee, but I can't leave my desk right now. I've only had 2 cups.
You see the size of my cup?
Wow. I mean, I have water as a backup.
Oh, right there it is. Israel will strike down Damascus. That's what I was looking for. God and Magon. Exactly, Mitz. Yep.
That's what's awesome about having an intelligent folks in the chat, because they can help us out.
Exactly. Well, we were just talking about it, and I couldn't think about it.
Everyone that comes against Israel is going to lose, per Revelations.
So Wendy's saying, I'm so sick of these lockdowns. Small, non-essential businesses that didn't shut down got fined $11,000. A man got fired.
Wendy, are you in Canada? That's what that sounds like, because I know Canada is on this heavy lockdown still.
Just take care. Thanks for coming in.
That's why I use instant coffee. I can't be that luxury. Get that man some Dane coffee. And Lady T, I tell you one thing. I do stock up on coffee. It's like a wall of coffee.
Yeah.
The B Lady, great to see you as well.
Ryan.
Dozens of gas stations are out of gas in the Pensacola, Florida area. Yeah, and Harvey, that's what I'm saying. It seems like it's coming from north of us, where I'm at. I'm in the eastern central area, or east coast of Florida Central, and it's moving downwards.
You see that? Paula, I know she's in Canada, says that we will start to reopen in June. These poor people have been locked up for a long time.
June, that's it's almost, let me see, if you look at last year into this year, I mean, that is quite some time.
Me lady, that is not a bad idea. I have done that many times where prices have been through the roof, and I would go to my local reserve, and it is dirt cheap there. And I asked a simple question: why, if you go to the reservation, gas and everything is so much cheaper? Why? Because they're not paying taxes on it.
Yeah. A year and 6 months. Yeah. Thanks, Freaky Geek.
What's a year and 6 months?
Lockdowns.
Paula, how long have you guys been in this major lockdown now? Because I know it's you, Quebec, and Sean from North Shore have been in these heavy lockdowns.
Arc Wildman, I mean, you might be right on the money, to be honest with you, brother, because if they don't have gas for the trucks to deliver food, you could be correct. If you look at the trucking industry itself, it is one of the biggest industries in regards to delivering products across the U.S., be it food or supplies or anything. Also, even with trains and stuff like that, everything runs on some sort of petrol, be it gasoline, diesel, whatnot, and it's all being affected.
Freaky says, I'm in Canada enjoying the stay at home from people thing. Yeah. David P. Anyone see the video where allegedly they were trying to pull a guy out of their car and hang him? Cop saved him from getting taken. No, Dave P. I have not seen that. That's kind of interesting, though.
Was that in Portland? Just out of curiosity? Because I've seen so much crap in Portland, people getting yanked out of their cars. Matter of fact, the Texas Attorney, what is it? Yeah, the Texas, where did I see that? Texas AG slams police department after video shows officers allegedly allowing the BLM to block traffic. So Texas AG is upset. Blocking traffic here in Florida is against the law.
But yeah, me and Moon were talking the other day about the whole food thing, guys, and that's what I wanted to show next on here. And I showed this to Gray this morning. Where's my markets?
It's called impeding traffic.
I'll check this up. Hey, here we go. So you guys saw it all in the red. Crude oil is now up 20. And unleaded is still at 0. Natural gas is down and heating oil is up. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. Look at right now for the corn prices, and it's still going up. 8 plus 18. Soybeans up 34.5. Wheat's up 10. So food is a major, major thing. And I think you're absolutely correct. I remember Moon and Finley were talking about it in the chat. Food prices go up. It's going to cause big issues. And if you don't have the truckers transporting that, if we don't have that, that's just going to drive the prices even higher. So, guys, I think it was almost a year now, I talked about how the other countries out there are telling their people to get at least a 6 months food supply. And then it was FEMA just came out recently, I think about 6 months or so. They're telling our people to have at least a 3-month food supply. Guys, if you can start now, it'd be great. If you have been going, that's awesome. But as you can see, things are turning to the worst, and we really need to think about getting our food and ourselves situated and learn to go off the basics in life. We were talking last night, guys. What if you go in your house right now and just flip that switch on the breaker box? How many in this chat right now could actually go into their house and shut it down and just business as usual? Obviously, you wouldn't have electricity, so some businesses would happen. But how many, you think about that and how that would affect your lifestyle at home. Do you have the means to have things ready to go for cooking? Do you have water? Do you have all the things that you need? It's a good test.
Yeah, there's always and a lot of people probably won't do it.
What is Dragon saying? Just remember when SHTF, everyone meet up at Mark's house and he will feed us from working on the homestead. Oh, me?
Interesting.
That's the whole idea behind a homestead is you want to be able to have your food sources renewable. No power equals chaos for most people. Throw the breaker, test yourself. Exactly, Harvey. Moon, what you saying? Israel used U.S. for decades to grow it to power. Israel will be the superpower. We were talking about holy wars last night. Thornhaven, gas for generators. Did you ever check into getting a multi-fuel generator so that you are not dependent just on gas alone? Man, there's some good conversations going on in that chat today.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sidetracked by a couple of things that are popping up on my screen. But I did find that one. I guess they did do the thing about the folks, the 1,500 inmates that are stuck in jail. They're in their cells 22 hours a day, man.
Who was the one that was going to let all them guys out on the streets?
Well, no, this is these are the people that were at the January 6th event. So you have the folks over on the West Coast, the little Portland rioters, and Washington, all those folks out there burning the ICE building, which is a federal building, burning the federal courthouse, which is another federal property, who are being released almost within the same day. But then you have the folks in the January 6th event. Some of them are only being charged for being on some, I forget the charges, but they're not like I forget exactly what the charges are, but they're not like these crazy charges. But they're being housed in their jail cells for 22 hours a day. And until last month, it was 23 hours a day. They were also barred from going outside.
Yeah, Paula and Thornhaven, that's a great idea. You guys should think about that. Paul's asking what kind of generators. There's different kinds of generators out on the market. I don't know what you guys have in Canada, but the ones up here that I like, my Pacific generator can run off gas or propane. So just by flipping a switch, you can switch it over to propane, and then if you want to go back to gas, you can go back and flip the switch, and then you're running on gas. So They're all over the market now, the dual purpose generators. I just don't want you guys to be sitting somewhere and like, for instance, gas stations run out of fuel. There's ones out there that can run on diesel. There's ones, they're all different kinds. And the funny thing is that wattage per hour increases when you run them things on propane versus gasoline, which is a weird thing. I would think it'd be opposite. Monster Mama, good to see you.
B Lady, yes, they are over in California. It's a revolving door over there.
And that's exactly, the whole toilet paper thing. I don't even think there was a shortage. I think that was somebody just said that.
Many rights have been lost to licensing. But no, there's also the since I'm bouncing back into the conversation in regards to the generators, there's the tri-fuels as well. And I know some folks have told me, well, you should go with diesel. And I understand the premise behind diesel, but if you look at the price of a diesel generator, it is definitely not cheap.
No, the cost of fuel for diesel right now, which in my eyes, it's the cheapest fuel to make, and right now it's the most expensive out there right now. So it doesn't add up. So if I was going to do something, it would go with a multi-fuel. It would be gas and propane. Because especially if you're on an RV or if you're on a homestead, you have propane backup somewhere down there. And that's a good generator that you can use, as you can be using both stations then.
What's up, Pappy Two Bears?
Good to see you, Chris.
And when it comes to generators, I always tell people like, well, I can't afford this one or that one. I say at least a generator is better than no generator.
Correct.
Matter of fact, I just installed some more solar lights in the backyard because I have solar all around the house because, so let's say a worst case scenario, you do lose power, right? Be if it's a natural disaster, hurricane, or rolling power outages. Criminals are more apt to come at that time when your house is all blacked out and whatnot. They're more apt to go to somewhere where there's not light. So that's why I have solar spotlights. I have solar floodlights, solar security cameras. Everything is solar based from the sun. Because even when a hurricane hits Florida, the next day it pulls once it rolls out, the sun comes out heavy.
There's actually a really good, I found them 2-3 years ago, they were running now, from Patriot. They make solar floodlights, and I have them on the chicken coop because we were wanting to make sure that I could see if something was going up by that chicken coop, because we have wildlife here and I want to steal my birds. So you guys can go and easily pick up one of them here and put them on your property. And that's a good point, Gray. Have them strategically placed in your dark areas or your travel points. Good to see you, Heritage Heart. Hey, y'all wanted to stop in. Say hi. Yep, hubby and I went to the truck stop today to get gas. His truck and gas cans were $78.
I'll be honest, where I got my floodlights, they were at Harbor Freight. They work great.
Thorhaven, hey guys, for frozen meat, is there another long-term solution to look at? Yes, Thornhaven, pressure canning your meats is about the best. I thought about that last year. Moon brought up a very good point. What if the power does go out and it doesn't come back on? Let's say we have an EMP, and right now you've got your freezer stocked full of an animal that you just processed. Canning your meats is the best alternative. Right here, as we were showing this last night, this is canned chicken that we canned in 2019. There's a date on it. Oop, there we go. Focus. And it's still good and tastes wonderful. So it's a great alternative.
We want to address Chris Clevercraft. I see what you're saying, and I agree. I did a video not too long ago on my channel that stated if you have to put yourself into debt, that's not the way to go.
No.
Basically, you when you get paid in your money, you push things that say, okay, this is for my preps, this is for this. You don't ever want to put yourself into debt for anything. in regards to your preps. So if you can't afford a generator, then that's totally understandable. But I would say if you can, put a little bit of money away. And I know right now is probably the worst. If you don't have a generator at this moment, it's probably like the worst time. But it took me, when I first got my first generator, it took me a year to save up for that generator because I got experience back to back with storms and power outages. I got tired of dealing with it. And it took me a year at the time to save up for a generator. So I didn't just go out and put myself in a debt for that generator. So I see where you're coming from. And hopefully that answers your question a little bit. I would not put yourself in a debt just for a generator. Food is more important.
Dragon, yeah, gasifiers. A lot of people don't know about gasifiers.
Wood gasifiers?
Yep.
Yeah, those things are phenomenal. If you ever watch the show Mountain Man, I think he runs his truck on a wood gasifier.
Until he ran it over the cliff, yeah. It didn't have brakes. Yeah, I was checking into a lot of that stuff. And last night, the other thing, guys, we were talking about, so for you homesteaders here, is Ghost put up a good point talking about how to use compost to cook and heat with, because you figure out a compost pile is pretty hot. And then I got to thinking, what if you do a hot compost? Yeah, Berkeley put out a thing probably like 3 or 4 years ago. They did a test on a hot compost pile, and they were making compost in less than a week, but they had temperatures up in the 180, 190 range, which would burn and kill most of the nutrients in the hot compost bin. So it's a neutral compost. But that is a really good idea. If we need to cook hot water, anything like that, lukewarm water, we have compost piles. That's a great way of doing it.
Okay. I see. As we speak, other folks are jumping on the pipeline thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Getting notifications for stuff.
Finley says canned wild hog is so delicious. Canned pork. You guys got to remember too, is back in the day, the older days, if you go and look at your grandparents, and I did this, my grandparents, there was a lot of stuff that was on the shelf that was canned. Most of the venison that we did for when we were hunting deer, that was all canned. There's pork that was canned. There was beef that was canned. All that stuff was canned. So they did it back then. That's what we need to be going back to the basics.
Yeah, learning those primitive skills are very important.
JM says husband wants to learn how to make shine. He does beer and wine, possible fuel, tinctures. I'm in. Yep, shine is a wonderful thing to know.
When you're not in the middle of an emergency. What did I miss here? You will be able to think more clearly when you're not in the middle of an emergency.
All right, Gray, I'm going to go and fill my coffee cup up.
Oh, we have that option?
Yeah, you can wait.
I guess I'm going to get me some coffee when he gets back. Yeah, and it's just think if everybody who remembers their grandparents and the things that they do and how they lived, they were a lot more intelligent when it came to things versus the way things are now. A lot of people are they're linked into the system, and that what is it called? What's it called? That easeability of just going to the store and grabbing this or going. Some people don't even stock. I've been to people's homes, right? What's up, Zane? I've been to people's homes that almost have nothing. They just live day to day. Oh, I go to the grocery store daily to get my food. Like they don't even have food in their house. They just do it daily. And I explained to them why that's not the greatest idea. I try to plant the seed. Hopefully they'll wake up, but you can only do so much for some of these folks. You know what I mean? And it's a shame. It's a shame, man. And hopefully some of the folks that I have conversations with will wake up because me personally, I want everybody to survive. I know some people are like, well, some of them deserve this or deserve that. And I understand that, but I believe in everybody should have an opportunity at least to wake up.
All right.
What'd you say?
I said, okay, go get your coffee.
Roger that.
Here's a question for everybody in the chat. So would you take $500,000 or would you take a penny a day, double a day?
That's a riddle.
But when you figure it out, a penny a day, double on a day, in 1 year, that's over $5 million. Yep, Dragon says penny a day. Exactly. So think about that. And why I say that is we got in a conversation with the whole YouTube and the smaller channels and growing your channel and stuff like that. If everybody right now that's in this chat would go and check out everybody in this chat, share everybody out in this chat, just think how fast you would grow. Yeah, Moon was just a form I was using because the theoretics behind it is that we were asked last night about growing the channel and how to add subscribers and all this other stuff. And that's the philosophy behind it. If we as a group together in this thing, we have 44 people in here right now. Out of this 44, I'm sure there's a few creators in here. If you share yourself out, you share everybody else out, all that stuff, you're going to grow fast. Yeah, Bees Life, penny a day. That's right, Boone. More people, more input. And that is what exactly it is. What would you take, a 10-ounce bar of silver or a candy bar? Well, Dragon, you can't eat 10 ounces of silver. You got to remember, guys, is that money, and the time that coming. That's what somebody asked me a while back about silver. Can Harvey pop up some links, please? Yeah, we sure can. Harvey, can you drop some links? Anybody that's in blue can drop links for their channel. But right now, guys, everybody that's in here that has a channel, please drop your link in there. I'll see if I can really screw up YouTube analytics on this one. And Harvey, if you can drop me and Gray's schedule and links, that'd be great. Right, Dragon, you can. You can do that with a lot of stuff. But my theory behind it is what is going to be the ultimate barter is not going to be silver and gold, because people you can't eat that. You can't use that. You can, what you said, that'd be a pretty expensive bullet if you melted down and made bullets out of it. But the point of it is that when we get into the barter system and stuff like that, your food is going to be your number one barter. Water. Think about that kind of stuff. Toothpaste, stuff that's off the wall that people are going to miss in their life. That's what they're going to want to barter. But like what I was telling them in this one right now, guys, just everybody that's in here that is a creator, you're blue, drop your link. And guys, share it with each other. And we're going to really see yourself explode and grow. Well, Jam, if YouTube throws a fit, we'll just do it again. That's how we kind of roll.
What happened? What did I miss? What happened if YouTube got a...
Oh, Jam was asking about links and people to share with, and I'm like, everybody that's blue, drop their link. Yeah, Finley, yours is pretty easy. Some people are just supporters of YouTube, and I know like they don't have a channel and they're just there to support. That's great. But me and Dragon were talking about which one would you take, ounce of silver, a bar of silver, or a candy bar?
Depending on the situation. And the reason I state that is because if I'm starving, that candy bar is going to be everything in the world to me.
Exactly. Yep.
But right now, in society the way it is right now, if someone wanted to hand me a candy bar or silver bar, I'm like, yeah, hand it over, man. I'll take that silver bar. But in a shift event or any type of situation like that, food is always going to be a priority. I used the same thing one time. I told a guy, I said, would you take a bag if you were in the desert, you were stuck in the middle of the desert, right? And you see a vehicle rolling up, and they're not there to pick you up. They're there to make you an offer. Here's a bag of gold, or here's a gallon of water. What are you going to pick?
You sure the heck ain't gonna use gold all in the middle of the desert, that's for sure.
Right.
You know,
there's a place for precious metals in the prepping community, but
ugly prepper. There you go, buddy. Yeah, that's true, and that's the thing is silver. It's going to get to a point where yes, people are going to say, okay, I'll take an ounce of silver for this. And I do believe in the beginning that's going to happen. Or if the reset happens, then you have some tangible, back money. But when you go down the road, people are going to say, well, I'll take a pound of hamburger if you have a gallon of gas or something in that matter,
I can see that point, Dragon. But like I said, it's a double-edged sword with folks. I've had this conversation before because I stack silver, and some people are like, well, you can't eat that silver, boy. And I'm like, I get I understand what they say.
It's a very hard one to think about because you're right. Down the road, I'm not going to be looking to have anything and worry about that because I'm going to be looking at the main thing, and that's food.
Matter of fact, I got an idea. I'll be right back.
All right. Yes, that's right, guys. Gardener Josh is going to be on Gray's channel tonight, and it's going to be Harvey's got the link there. He is going to be interviewing Josh. Mamas, yep, exactly. Laster Prepper says silver is for rebuilding when things start to come back economically. Absolutely, it is, and that's what I was just was talking about. When a reset happens, you want to have some kind of currency that is backed, and because paper is, at the time, paper is going to be useless. It is already. It's electronic currency. You think about it. If you have $100 in your checking account, that's physically there because it's a smaller amount. Do you think that the bank is carrying on? If you have $100,000 in your checking account, do you think that bank, if you walked in there and said, "Hey, I'm taking out my $100,000," they're going to say, "Hey, hold on a second, we got to get this."
That's when you look at this. All right, I'm going to try to explain. So when people see this, they think money, right? They're like, "Oh, that's $20, right?" Eventually, this will be worth nothing other than the paper it's printed on for kindling. But this, something like that, let's see if it'll focus. You can do it, camera. This will retain its value.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Something like that, which is just a silver round. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm trying to say. Paper money is fiat currency versus, something that's tangible or wealth preservation, as they say it.
Well, Monster Mom was saying Rudy was talking about with the reset and silver when it hits the reset, and she's absolutely correct. At that point, that's when you're going to see the monetary system coming back. But who knows what it's going to be? It could be Bitcoins. It could be, cryptocurrency. It could be so many different things that right now, what do we have that's tangible? For instance, okay, so right now, Bitcoins and all that cryptocurrency, you can't go and get right now online and buy a graphics card because everybody's using it to make these big machines to do crypto mining. So it has jacked the prices of graphics cards through the roof because everybody's doing this crypto mining. And that's how you actually get the currency is you're mining it through the system and algorithms. But what Gray has in his hand, that's tangible. If he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I got a silver dollar here and I want something like that," that's tangible for me to get.
Well, yeah, the stock market is I get into the stock market.
If you're going to do castings content, since I'm not trying to get monetized anyway, you got to think up down the road. That's at some point, if you do want to get monetized, then you ask Gray, you can ask myself. Once you hit the monetization, and there's a bunch of loopholes that as us smaller channels have to go through, that seems like the bigger channels, YouTube has more lenient to what they can do.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
B-Lady's got one for you. I agree, man. Prepping, my dad said that is your proof the U.S. stock market is rigged. Yeah.
What's up, Gardner Josh? Josh, did you want me to use that Go picture for the thumbnail? Is that why you sent me that? I thought you were going to send me a picture of your face.
I just shouted you out, buddy. And tonight on Gray's channel, everybody that's in here, go to Gray's tonight and watch Gardner Josh.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Not being nervous there, buddy, but usually he's got like a couple hundred on his panel. Thanks, Roland.
Yeah, Dragon. No, I agree. That's crypto is something that I play with myself, but I play with it in the now. After everything goes sideways, I don't know. Like you said, if there was an end of the world event, or an EMP or power or whatever, that might not ever be worth anything at that point. I always tell people, if you don't have money to light on fire, don't invest into certain things, because you have to take a heavy risk when it comes to stuff like that.
All right, guys, here's another question for you. Now, investing in your preps, what about alcohol, whiskey? It's medicinal. Brandy's medicinal to a point. There's another good bartering tip and a bartering tool, vodka. You look at the prohibition and how everybody was hiding things back then. Making your own shine. There's another one. Got to watch out, B-Lady, for old Putin. He's a master chess player. It says, wow, I'm over 100 now. That's the thing, guys, is what I said. If you get into these and you actually, if you're doing live streams like this and everybody supports everybody, that group, you all gain from that. But do it correctly. Go in there, leave a comment. Hey, Gray, I'm here. I'm watching your video. And then move on.
Shadow Scouts, I agree with you 100%. Coffee is extremely important for bartering and because I know if someone had coffee, I'd barter something with them because I love my coffee.
Okay, if I'll barter some of my cheap coffee for your good coffee.
Yeah, right. Give them the Folger stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, Scout. Coffee is going to be a huge one. The thing that I'm trying to figure out, and maybe you have that background in coffee, for long-term storage of coffee, because as the oils seep out of the beans, if you get ground, I can go show you some ground coffee versus bean ground coffee. They're dark, they're really rich, and the stuff is dry, and it's just I haven't found a good way yet to store long-term for coffee, more or less.
Van Beta Travels is asking, what is the best alcohol to save? Me personally, stuff like vodka, anything that's a higher proof, have you ever seen Everclear? Everclear is very potent, but it can be used for other things.
Everclear can be used in tinctures. Anything vodka wise, Paul, would be good for your tinctures and stuff. Whiskey is, matter of fact, they used it back in the day as a painkiller. I remember teething and stuff like that. And if you weren't feeling good, that was their remedy, was a shot of brandy, or for a little cup of shot of brandy. And that was the way it was. But one of the biggest things about prepping, cooking on a farm, good to see you. One thing about prepping and putting your stuff away, don't prep something that you're not going to use.
Bingo.
And spend the money on something you don't like. If that's your food, if that's whiskey, if if you're going to barter something and you want to have a barter box, hey, Drops, good to see you. Don't do and put stuff away that you're not going to like. So if you're a person that does not like lima beans and you can't stand lima beans, why would you prep lima beans?
Exactly. Know your family's dietary restrictions, because some people have certain issues that they can't consume certain stuff. I saw something I wanted to. And the bee lady, what's great about tea is most teas you can make out of stuff in the woods. Let's say like dandelion tea, lavender. There's so many things that you can use out in the wild for teas.
And so the other one on that is raspberries, raspberry leaf tea. It's one of those that are out there. Chamomile tea. Chamomile is actually a tranquilizer in large doses. So it's a soothing one for the bedtime and stuff like that. Mint tea, you got your peppermints. There's all kinds of stuff that you can have to make teas out of. So making your, if you do have a garden or an herb garden, is a good way to get that stuff in there. Oregano, basil, thyme tinctures, thyme teas. That's all a very good resource to have.
Yeah, I keep on seeing things that come across the screen, and I feel like I want to run and go grab stuff. But yes, the vacuum sealed coffee bricks. Like I said, I have a wall of those, which are awesome.
How long do they last though? Because I was actually looking at that myself. And wondering if they were going to, because they had, are they going to be good when you open them?
I recycle them. I can go and grab one and see if it has an expiration date on it. Just for fun.
Yeah, go ahead, go see if they got one. It'd be kind of interesting to see because coffee is one of the main things that. And if you guys, how many people know how to make cowboy coffee in here? If you haven't done that, for you guys of van travels, Paula, there's a good one for you. Cowboy coffee back in the old days, what they would do is they put the grounds in a pot, they'd fill up with water, put it on the fire, and let it boil. And then they would take it off when it was nice and dark, and they would take a splash of water in there, and they would hit it. And what that water does is it sets all of the coffee down on the bottom. I can't get my words now. And then you can drink it straight, and then you don't have to worry about the coffee grounds. So cowboy coffee is a really good thing. And in our situation, if something bad happens, I'm not going to throw a percolator on a fire and wait for my coffee, because I'll tell you what, I'd be a bear at that time. So I'm going to do the cowboy coffee.
So this doesn't have an expiration date on it. It has a best if used by date. And we're in, what is today? May 2021. The best if used by date is April 14th of 2023. And I might be able to get that to zoom up on the camera, the best by date.
There it is. Yep. Huh.
So it's best if used by. So that means it doesn't expire. They're saying that it's just the freshness, the flavor is to be best used by. And, that's almost 2 years away. So like I said, having a wall of coffee and going through it and cycling through it keeps it fresh.
If you guys go into my playlist, you're going to see how I make dandelion coffee. And the dandelion root, when you roast it, it's exactly like coffee. So
I can't wait to get those roots from you. I want to make a video of me trying it for the first time, putting it and doing all that fun stuff like that. I'm excited.
You're just about, they were out there yesterday, so
Van Vita Travels, huh?
Pretty soon they were going to be seeding.
Oh, Van Vita Travels. Me personally, I think the bricks are better because they're vacuum sealed versus the cans of coffee. But that's just my personal perspective on it. Also, the cans of coffee take up so much more space. But some people reuse the cans for other things to put stuff in. But it depends, because you really can't. Once you pull that seal, that you can store stuff in it, but you can't really vacuum seal that coffee tin. If you want to use it as a piggy bank, sure, but And
the other thing too, guys, is you can go online, and I've got a couple of hand mills I would take out when we did their work. That helps out, because then it's a perfect measurement. If you fill your grinder up, it's a perfect measurement for a cup of coffee. So it works out really well.
Yeah, Freaky Geek, you could probably pop someone in the head with this.
Throw a brick at somebody.
Yeah. You know, I always wanted to do a test, but I didn't want to waste my coffee. I wanted to shoot around at this and see if how many coffee bricks it would take to stop around. Because you know you have that directed energy, and as the energy starts to disperse.
Yeah.
I worry more about food than coffee if I were you. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at one spot, and this is just one backup section, and it's there's a wall of food there, buddy. So I understand what you're saying, but some of us have to have our coffee. So, like I said, and spread your preps out, man. Find what's most important to you, and then work a way around that. You know what I mean? If you, like I said, your pastas, your rices, your dry goods, your freeze drieds, your canning.
Yeah, Brian. Last year. I watched my indicator on the house do this. I'm like, what the heck is on? And believe it or not, it was a coffee pot and being used as a toaster. Those are the two heavy hitters next to the microwave. And you're absolutely correct. 1,300 watts to run the coffee pot and a toaster. That is crazy.
Yes, once you open this, the sealed part of it, yes, it will. Then it lets oxygen in, and then that's when oxygen is if you're doing with everything, you put oxygen absorbers in your Mylar bags, you put oxygen. That's to keep the oxygen out. So yes, once you open that up, but
Scout, if for vitamins, multivitamins, Gray touched on this a couple weeks or maybe less than a week ago about the vitamins and storing vitamins for long term.
Right. And matter of fact, me and Ed at Prepper Nurse One were discussing that, and actually Rudy over at the Alaska Prepper is actually gonna do a full-blown video on that as well. Because people want to know how long you can store vitamins and medications and stuff like that. I went through the medications more so, let's say like the antibiotics and stuff on my channel, but they're very similar, and it depends on the type of vitamins they are as well. You know, if you have a vitamin D liquid capsule versus a pressed capsule, there's going to be different longevity between the two.
Hey, Harvey, if you're still in here, can you throw up Rudy's and Jason's link in here? And Ed's too. Yeah, most people should know who they are, but if they don't.
Yeah, Rudy over at the Alaska Prepper is one of my, I guess you could say, mentors.
Okay, so Chris wants you to touch on storing vitamins.
Well, like I said, so anything liquid based can go bad in a, you always want to store everything in a cool, dark, dry place. All right. And there's going to be a lot of vitamins that say that, they have an expiration date on it. Let's say whatever the expiration date may be. Now, if you know about expiration dates, they're always just a safety feature for the company. Now, as you store them, let's say you have a vitamins and it says it best buy date or best, the expiration date is a year from now. Usually you can get several years after that. Also, as the years progress, it also, like anything else, will lose its potency. So like I said, depending on your storage, where you're storing it at, you don't ever want to use any type of liquid stuff because there's a whole thing that I can go into just because it can get nasty. If you ever left let's say a liquid Advil or something like that, you ever seen how they start to collapse on themselves due to heat, moisture, and all that stuff like that? Anything that has moisture in it can go bad. So that's why the capsules that are compressed capsules that have no moisture in it.
So here's the one that I got a big bottle of fish oil there.
And those are liquid based.
Yep, and 23. So it gives me 2 years.
So he probably can get another year out of them, but that's liquid based. So you have to be careful with anything that has liquid inside of it. Think about moisture and mold and stuff like that. That's what you have to think. What draws, things in.
Absolutely. That's the thing too but there's other things too, guys. Don't forget about the wild edibles, because willow bark is a natural aspirin. So like I was saying before about chamomile is it's a soothing. It'll help for sleeping and stuff. So there's other things out there. Garlic is an antibiotic, antifungal. So there's another thing we found out thanks to Gray was tomatoes have nicotine in them. The green ones are more. And then we were going through the list, and I'm like, holy crap, there's a lot more than just that. So, but the other thing too is if you have a nicotine addiction, you might want to have that on the shelf. Because I was actually looking with Gray here, and we're working on, because I have a huge nicotine addiction, to put up just nicotine and store nicotine. Because hence, if you don't have it, you turn into a grizzly bear. Can you please do a show on how to protect yourself if you use a ham radio or CB so harmful lurkers won't home in on your target? All right, B. So the only time that somebody can actually hone in with you're using a ham radio or CB is when you got the mic in your hand. So somebody's got to be out there detecting your signal, and as you go forward and you mic off, they're going to lose that signal, and mic on, mic off. So it's very hard to actually zone in on somebody that's using a ham radio unless you're sitting there doing like we're doing now and having a conversation for a long period of time. Then they could actually zone in on you.
Van Vita asked if we could only pick 2 vitamins, which one would we store? And to me, that's a hard one because, I have a bunch of different vitamins, but probably the best thing to honestly was a multivitamin. And make sure you do your research on multivitamins. They're all not created equally. There's a lot of fillers and garbage in some of these things. And some of them, the multivitamins, some vitamins cancel each other out. So your best,
I think mine would be the multivitamin or vitamin D.
And your best resource for vitamins is nature. So let's say vitamin D. Mark says vitamin D, right? If you're in a shift event and you're living in the woods or you're living in an off-grid or you're out there gardening all the time, you're absorbing vitamin D3 consistently being out in the sun. You're absorbing lots of minerals and nutrients from the soil that you're tilling and gardening in. So like I said, you have to look at it that way. That's why a lot of people need vitamins this day and age. They have deficiencies because they sit in their house, they watch TV, they're in an air-conditioned work environment. They're never outside.
Lady T with a vitamin C. Remember my old pine thing? Pine tea has tons of vitamin C in it. So you can use that as a alternative for your vitamin C. But what's really why I say D3 by me, because I'm not in Florida like Gray is, and there's days that I'll be going with 7-8 days without the sun. So if you listen to what we talk about, it's your preps are totally designed for your area. That's one of the things you got to look at. If you're with me, solar wouldn't work well here because there's days we don't have sun. There's days so that's why I picked the vitamin D's, because I know that we would be efficient there. The B12s or the B multivitamin or the B vitamins would be another one I'd be looking at because those are going to be harder to get to.
I always tell folks, and when it comes to your garden too, is research what you're growing and research the vitamins that are associated with those foods.
Hey, Faithful Preppers in here.
What's up, Faithful?
Good to see. I see somebody saying hi, cooking on the farm. Said hi to her. So that was the other thing too, is like those probably would be the B vitamins and the D vitamins would be the ones I would be looking for.
B Lady, I have certain things for that. But also vitamin K also helps vitamin D absorb better into the body.
Mm-hmm. Vitamin K, if I remember right, carrots are loaded with vitamin K. Don't call me on that. I think I might, if I remember right. Vitamin K is in carrots.
That's what's the word? I can't think of it. Beta carotene.
Beta carotene, yeah.
Ginkgo lutein, extra memory site. Yeah, you can drink ginkgo tea. Matter of fact, zinc. But like I said, we're talking about all these. Josh.
The other thing too is don't forget about your probiotics, and it does not necessarily mean that you have to go buy the cans of probiotics, because I found recently here that there are some out on the market, like Ray was talking about, that aren't that good. By the time it hits your stomach, it's gone. It's not actually getting into your intestines, into your digestive tract. So if you guys know anything about the fermenting of foods, there's a great way for you to get your probiotics.
Create a redundancy, and that's what I'm saying is, besides that, vitamins, a natural source is your best way. Your body prefers a natural way more than anything, to be honest with you. Down here, Mark, might be different where he's at. Where like down here, let's say certain fishes have the omega-3s in it, but they're a good source of, let's say, specific types of vitamin, like fish oils. Things that are like salmon, mackerel, that are high in those fish oils.
Yeah, your fatty omega-3 acids.
Yeah, your body absorbs it easier than consuming, let's say, some sort of pill or whatnot.
Moon, sorry, I forgot to say be right back. Kimchi, yep. A lot of people like, well, man, I'm not a fan of kimchi. I love my fermented foods and my fermented vegetables and stuff like that, but I'm not a big fan of kimchi.
Yeah, sauerkraut. I'm still on the sauerkraut kick, but those probiotics. I started researching the heck out of sauerkraut, fermented sauerkraut. Not the stuff you buy at the store.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, because it's our gut health. Believe it or not, our gut health is so important to our entire body. It'll make such a great difference.
Yep. It does.
No one ever thinks about that. And then digging into those preservatives and how much I read everything now because I'm curious to see what's inside some of this stuff. And everything is heavy laden with preservatives.
Yeah, notes are pretty good. But yeah, we were talking, that'll be probably the next one on. I'll do some digging next week. We'll be talking about the gut health and see what Gray has planned for the morning show. But there's a lot of things that people don't realize about preservatives, how much is in your food that you eat now, even, and then what it does inside your body and how it affects your digestive system.
Agreed. It's huge. It's huge.
It is.
Now, there's an extreme amount of sodium in canned foods, and that's unfortunately, let's say a lot of preppers, even like stuff like Spam and stuff like that, the preservatives and the salt and a lot of that stuff. If you're someone who suffers from heart disease, and you're consuming this every day, it could affect you adversely. So, like I said, you have to. The best way to consume things is like what Mark's doing, having a garden. What I'm doing is eating fresh. You're going to pick that tomato right off that little plant there and bring it inside the house, go and grab some eggs and whatnot, because then you know where it came from. You grew it. There's no one adding anything to that stuff.
Like it was one of the streams I showed, this here is pressure canned chicken, and it's in its own stock base. You go read that can for the same exact thing. So if you buy the can of chicken breast, and the sodium was just off the charts that they put in there. So the preservatives to keep that in that can was just unbelievable. And so if we look at that, what happens if, for you guys out there that are planning, and let's say you have a case of MREs that you got stockpiled and you're going to use them on a rainy day. We've all talked about this before. The first time you open up that MRE and you start eating that, your guts are going to go through the roof because they're not used to that. So that is the key to prepping and doing all this stuff, is prep and put away and store the stuff that you're going to eat, use, and that you've been eating on.
Agreed.
Yeah, scout and make your own beef jerky. Do all the time. Pulled pork. Let's see what the stocks are doing right now, because we've been on for almost an hour and a half, Gray.
Wow, really that fast?
That fast.
Flying. What time is it? I got to pick up the child. She had to go in for testing today.
It is 12:24 by you.
Roger that. Oh, how kind of YouTube for fixing my stuff. Do one of you have a good way of making bone broth on your channel? I'm assuming Mark would be the master at that versus me. My wife probably does, but
I don't have any videos of it, but it's who's asking that?
the bee lady.
Be just bone broth as far as like when we do the chicken and stuff, we'll do and just leave that in and let the bones after you pull the chicken meat off, put them back in the pot, let them cook down. Same thing, we make vegetable broth, chicken broth, beef broth, all that stuff. It's the same concept.
Creative redundancy, doing that after I enjoy it. Creative redundancy put, I have to get some sun and dirt time soon. I agree. I'm out there every day now. And for some reason I get this elation of happiness.
You guys ain't gonna believe this, but actually gardening is a soothing thing. So it's a stress reliever. So the number one thing in a SHTF situation would be stress and anxiety. So having a garden would be a mood booster. And it's a very good thing. Zany said, you can put celery, carrots, onions, all that stuff in your bone broth to give it. We do the same thing, but I actually make same thing when I do my juicing. Some of the juice stuff that I use, I save the fibers and everything, and I'll put it in the freezer to make my vegetable broth. So when I get enough put together, I'll throw a pot up, throw some water in there, dump all that stuff in there, and let her cook down. And you have all that goodies in for broth. Thorhaven, yep, chives are up too for us. He says I walked out this morning grabbing chives for our omelets and NST.
Best broth I made was 26-hour boil. Interesting.
Yeah, Dragon. So you guys, I don't know how many people in here actually have stored MREs in your stuff, but there's that gum, and like Dragon has a good point. I'd also recommend people not to eat food if you don't have a liquid to help with the digestive process. To be plugged up. That's true. That would be a bad, crazy thing.
Agreed. I don't know. Me, I'm huge into hydration. Like I said, I've been since I ever left the military. I've always been hydrating, or just always drinking lots of water.
That's because all we heard all day long was hydrate, hydrate.
It's like it just got pounded in your head so much it just became second nature to hydrate.
And if you guys do have talking about, I just read dehydrate. If you have a dehydrator, you can actually dehydrate like your chicken broth. You can dehydrate your into a powder. Your vegetable broth, all that stuff.
Just as an update, I guess, North Carolina declares state of emergency over fuel supplies after colonial pipeline attack. That was just updated just a few minutes ago. So North Carolina just declared a state of emergency.
Yeah, Dave, you got to remember the gum that was in the MREs is a laxative, and that's why they put it in there. Because after eating them for 3-4 days, yeah, you're plugged up. Laura, that is interesting because we were just talking about that hand pump for deep well extraction. I'm looking at trying to make one for our property right now.
That's smart, Zane.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, it's been on an hour and a half. I want to thank you all for joining us on this one. And guys, if you don't know, next week's and Tuesday on Gray's channel, it would be at 11 o'clock his time, not 10 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
We will continue the morning show. I want to thank everybody so much for spending time with us this morning. I hope you guys got some learning information out of this, and thank you for participating with each other and helping each other grow each other's channel. That was awesome that you guys did that. I think I saw somebody in here. I think it was Mitch said that he's up to 100 now. So that's cool that you guys did that for him.
B Lady, I go live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in an interview style live stream with Gardner Josh. Every Tuesday, I go live on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on Thursdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then now me and Mark will be flip-flopping on Tuesday mornings.
And we'll have at the end of the live stream here, we'll have our schedules up so you guys can see that. So you guys all take care, and we will see you on the next one. God bless all.